Hello, hello, everyone.
It's Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Except for I feel the same way about Fridays as I feel about Mondays.
What's that? Excited?
Yeah, super excited. I'm really excited for my life all the time.
Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays are definitely my favorite days.
Yeah, I just like the vibration of how Fridays feel. Hey, Dr. Joan. Okay, so hello, I'm Sheena Blake.
And I'm Casey Valentine.
And we're from DDP.
And this is Comfortably Uncomfortable.
Ooh, comfortably uncomfortable, where we get all the way real with people and tell all the way the truth.
And go all the way inside to ourselves.
That was a good one. All the way inside. Okay. So what we like to do on the show, because most people on social media like to, what's the word that we use? Like to posture.
Yes.
We show up one way, but we also come all the way in and tell the truth, which we don't find people do all the time. So this is a show on being vulnerable and getting real.
Yes. Okay, so we're really excited about our guest today. And I can't wait to introduce her. But first, we have revelations.
We do.
So now that the show's a little bit shorter, we're only doing one revelation. And today's my day. And my revelation is, looking back at my life about a year and a half ago, I didn't have the things I wanted. But I was actively calling. I wanted a business partner. I didn't want to work for myself anymore. I wanted a good man, who had all the things on my list. And a year and a half later, I got all the things. And so my revelation is that I literally am blessed. I literally am special and worthy of all the things I want, and I get the things I want.
Did you write them down?
The things I wanted?
Yeah.
I had a vision board for the business.
That's
the
so
husband
good.
thing, I definitely wrote all of it down. But yeah, and I was actively seeking partners before for my marketing business, but none of them were panning out.
I remember those days.
Yeah. And I got you at the end of it.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the revelation, all of that to say, is you can actually, too, design your life. And a year from now, watch it become exactly what you wanted.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Okay. So today's topic is on forgiveness, which the last time we sort of hinted on the idea of forgiveness, I had mentioned that I'd put up a post on Facebook months and months ago talking about forgiveness, and many women said that you actually don't have to forgive someone in order to be healed or feel better about the situation. And now cue our guest for today, who was responding with us as we were discussing the topic of forgiveness, Dr. Joan. She's going to be joining us live on Instagram. So if you're watching on Facebook, please, the link is in the thing.
Yeah, I put up the link for you. I'm going to disconnect with you right now because you won't be able to see our guest.
And that'll be awkward.
Yeah, but if you come to Instagram, you'll get to join in.
Join us on IG.
So we love you, Facebook peeps, but later. All right,
Dr. Joan. Okay, we're going to add you in right now.
Hello, everyone.
View, go live. I like looking at you, look at you.
Hi, Sheena. Hi, Casey. You guys are awesome. I love that intro. I love the revelation.
Thank you. You look beautiful.
Thank you.
Oh, I love the colors.
Yeah.
Thank you. I've got my t-shirt. I don't know if you can see it clearly, but it says, I forgive you.
Ah, good
You
one.
have to sit up more. I can't see it.
Stand up for us for 1 second.
Okay. Can you see that?
Oh, it's
Too far?
It's mirrored
Too
image,
close.
but we get it.
We get it.
Okay,
Oh,
yes.
that's cool, I think.
Yeah, that is. Well, yes, that's a really sweet shirt. Did you like?
I know. Geeky Dr. Joan, but what can I do, right?
We're super geeks. Don't worry about it, Dr. Joan. Okay, so we wanted to just jump right into the topic because we have made this solid decision of sticking with time
Yes.
more stringently. We will be done at promptly 12:30. We want to dive into the topic of forgiveness.
Starting with I really want to know what the definition of forgiveness is today. So do you have a definition, Dr. Joan? I feel like you do.
Well, I have the official definition, and then I have kind of a more informal definition.
By official, you mean?
Kind of like dictionary type definition, which is literally let go, right? And so that is the definition if you look it up. And if you look up the Christian definition, it is the same thing because it's a Greek word that actually means let go.
Wow.
And for me, forgiveness is all about the process of letting go. It's not just letting go, but you actually have to learn the lessons that are embedded in the forgiveness that you do.
Okay, so here's my challenge for the whole thing. Because I think I agree with you. The thing is that there was more than two women who hopped on one of my feeds one day and were very clear about the fact that they don't feel that this is the truth, that this is the only way to be like restored and renewed. Yeah, that forgiveness isn't the only thing. And what they were speaking to abusive mothers or being victims of rape or things like that. And so what they were saying was that, you know, they confronted these people and then the people weren't apologetic or understanding.
Right.
And then they were saying that, you know what, I'm okay to not forgive you. I can let this go without forgiving you. So what say you, Dr. Joan? Wait, you didn't introduce yourself.
Oh, yes. We need to know you.
Sorry.
So, guys, I'm Dr. Joan. I am a forgiveness therapist. I'm also an author and a speaker. I've marched through my own forgiveness journey and now have marched through writing about that journey, but then taking it beyond me towards moving other people to a place where they understand that forgiveness really is a process, that there are these nitty-gritty questions that you ask yourself as you go through the process. And that at the end of it, what's supposed to happen is your energetic field is supposed to be all balanced. So I kind of take it to both a body level, a spiritual level, as well as a mind level. You know, in North America, we tend to be all mind.
So tell us.
Think.
Yeah, well, this is a thing that we do. So tell us, could you walk us through some of your personal, like not necessarily the story, but the story of like your journey? Yeah. And I think we'll have to touch on things that we need to forgive or that we have forgiven.
Yeah, because you talked about it being a process, and we want to get to the thing that can you actually let go and without real forgiveness. But we want to first hear an example from your life of when you actually got through something big and you had real forgiveness. Whatever you're comfortable with.
So I kind of forgive, like if it's not a daily practice, it's a weekly practice, right? So let me give you the example of the one that I did yesterday. It's a bit lighter, but I think you'll appreciate it. I have a good friend from childhood, and it's one of those situations that as you're building your business, as you're going on social media, as you're doing all of these things that are really supposed to be boosting you up, right? One of the things you want is for your friends to kind of join along, support you, whatever the case may be, right? And this is a good friend. But she's also experienced a lot of trauma. So when I talk about my own experiences, or when I invited her to write in my book, which is called Becoming: The Journey to Self-Love, when I asked her to write about her journey of experiencing rape as a child, it really shook her up. And since then, it's been kind of like me reaching out, but her constantly moving away. And I know why she's doing it. It's not that I don't understand. Right. But what I want her to do, so this is the first question that I ask myself as I'm standing in the mirror. Like I literally stand in front of the mirror and I look into one of my eyes as I'm forgiving. So for a female, the same sex as yourself, you look always in the left eye. If it's someone of the opposite sex, you look in the right eye.
What?
Yes. Okay,
why?
Hang on a second.
Tell us.
Why?
Because the eyes are where we create memory. So think about it this way. If you have a memory from anywhere, childhood or whatever, there are certain sights that go along with that. There are certain sounds that go along. The taste, even of the air, is remembered by you. You hear things, right? So as you're doing that, guess where that is all captured? It is captured visually by the mind, right? So when you look in a mirror and you go through this process, what you're doing is you are, yes, what you're doing is you're remaking the image and the memory so that as you let go, it's not just a mind thing, but it is actually a revisualization with understanding, with acceptance, with allowance, with all of those things that we talk about, right? But now it becomes real. So I'm standing there in the front of the mirror, and the first question I ask myself is, you know, like, what do I want from her?
Yeah.
And my only desire is that she gets unstuck. I've invited her many times to come and do this therapy with me, and she refuses. Not because she doesn't want to be healed, but because when I say, oh, you got to look in a mirror, or when I say, your memories are in the eyes, she's like, what are you talking about? Right?
Yeah, she's like, I'm over it. I don't want to hear any of this. Yeah.
No, she gets all willied out. She's like, huh? You know, like people who are very religious go all like mystical. They go all like, you know, demon. They go all like, you know, like they just go all sorts of places that's dark, right? And I'm going, no, you got to step into the light, right? And this is how you do it. So I asked myself the question, like, what do I want? And it's for her to not be afraid, for her not to be stuck, for her to heal. Those are all the things that I want for her. Now I go on to the next question. Well, what am I getting instead? Well, I'm getting, in a lot of ways, rejection. I'm getting separation because she's like, I don't know, you know. She's telling me no. And I'm offering, right? So as I go through the process, I'm then asking, well, how do I feel about this, you know? And I really feel, in my gut, I feel a deep rejection. In my gut, I feel a real yearning for her to be in a better place. In my gut, I'm desiring just for us to connect again, right? So there's a bit of loneliness, a bit of isolation that goes because this is a beautiful friendship, right? That's just kind of shifted in the last little while. So, you know, as I go through the process, I'm figuring out these three things. And then I begin a journey of speaking out loud as I'm standing there in the mirror. Okay. Now imagine, I'm going back in my mind and I'm thinking of all the times we as friends have connected, all the times that, you know, we've been able to help one another, all the times where she's helped me through hard times and now I want to help her. And I begin to visualize all of that as I say out loud, call her name, I forgive you for running away instead of, you know, sticking with me and becoming healed. I have felt so lonely without you. I have felt, you know, just really sad. I have felt lost, you know, and you can come up with all the other words. Okay. But, you know, as you do that, go ahead, ask the question, Casey.
But Dr. Joan, I feel like your forgiveness now implies the creation of a stronger bond between you guys in the future. What if you don't desire a stronger bond with that person, or they don't desire that with you ever?
Excellent question. So there's a difference between forgiveness and reconciliation. Remember, we are all connected, right? Right? We're all one. But the moment someone harms us, what we do is this, right? And we separate. So ideally, as a human race, what we should be doing is coming together. That's when we have peace. That's when we have love. But as soon as we separate from one another, we're living a falsehood that we're supposed to be separate. So what I like to then walk people through is that, you know, in this life, we're not all perfect. In this life, we damage one another. But in this life, everything is happening the way that it should, precisely because we're here to learn a lesson, right? And so as the lesson comes, instead of looking at this chaotic person who has just come into your life and you're going, I never would have asked you into my life if I had a choice, right? At the same time, you go, but this is not just about me. This is about a whole life. This is about my purpose. This is about what I'm here to do. And in this moment, I find my purpose. And you know what? At the end of the day, if somebody is incapable of saying, I'm sorry, then we don't have to reconcile until they're ready. But if we are in a place where we're like, okay,
you can go first.
if they are saying, I am sorry, if they get on their knees and say, I am completely and truly sorry for what I did to you, then the possibility of reconciliation returns, no matter what that individual has done.
I can appreciate the difference between forgiveness and reconciliation. I hadn't actually thought on those terms, so I appreciate that, actually. Yeah, go ahead.
Every time I think about forgiveness, there's one person I know I haven't forgiven. Well, there's a couple people I know I haven't forgiven, but there's at least one person I definitely haven't forgiven that keeps coming to my mind all the time. And I mean, 15 minutes is done, but we're gonna keep going. What you said just now about looking in the mirror and going through that process of what you want from the situation. I've never done that before, so maybe that will actually help me and answer the question. But It seems like when me and this person even broached the topic, because we've tried to talk about the issue, she seems to be blaming it on something else. She won't even admit the real actual thing that's happening between us. But I know that there's something more.
Right.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Right.
If the person's not willing to get really deep and honest, can you even start to forgive them? Or I guess for yourself, or you can't reconcile with them.
Yeah, so I always say we don't do forgiveness with other people. So we don't actually approach them and say to them what we needed to forgive them for, because the forgiveness is really about us. It's about a lesson that we need to learn about us. But what we do is we approach people about reconciliation. So after you have forgiven them, then what you do is you then reach out and you give them the opportunity to reconcile with you. Because once you're forgiven, it's done. Right?
I'll take that in.
And so you have to come and do a session with me, and I'll do it for free, and then you can see what I mean.
Cool.
And then you practice your own journey. What I always do is I have somebody come, I do a first session with them because there's a key moment in time that everybody needs to know. And then after that, I tell them exactly how to kind of march through this process on their own. And some people lack insight, but for somebody like you who does have that insight, you're going to be able to walk your own journey. So then what I do is I say, here's how you do it, Casey. Now you walk. And if you ever need me, if you ever need some insights that I might have that, you're really struggling with this one particular thing, then come back. But other than that, you're walking your journey, because the forgiveness, every time you do it, you also have to look back at yourself, and you have to forgive yourself for doing exactly the same thing that you've just forgiven. Yeah. So one of the things that comes very quickly.
Yes, that makes sense.
Right? Wait, repeat that to me. Repeat that to me. Repeat that. I don't want to miss it.
So then I forgive my friend that I was talking about, right? And, really the thing I want is for her to get unstuck, right? Then I have to turn to myself and I have to go, Joan, I forgive you for being stuck, instead of,
because you wouldn't have seen it. You wouldn't have seen it had it not have been a part of your consciousness anyways. Exactly.
So one of my key things is always the desire to connect, right? But I'll attempt to connect and connect and connect until the point where it hurts me. So now I have to keep reminding myself, there are some people who can't connect at this moment in time. Why are you stuck here? When they're ready, they will come. But now you need to move on, right? So in all of our forgiveness, we do a forgiveness of the other, and then we turn it back on ourselves. And that's part of why the mirror is important as well.
So before you read the comments, we have a few comments we want to read, but before we do, I want to leave that question in your mind because I want to get back to it. I want to know, after we read the comments, if you're a superhuman or if there's another way you figured this out. So just stick with that for a second, and then let's read the comments.
Okay, so Tough Love Club says they serve a lesson or a purpose. No, first he says, yes, coming together. And then he says, lesson and blessing in disguise. Fair enough. C. Yusuf says, I have always believed you can forgive and just love people from a distance. You don't necessarily need to keep people in your space. Can you kindly address this?
Yeah. And you don't have to keep people in your space. When you forgive, it's done. Right? But what I always say is, the people who, let's call there are some people who say I can't forgive, right? And I won't forget.
Or it's unforgivable.
Right. And then, and those are the ones who say I can't forget. And then there are some who say, okay, I forgive and I forget. And that's the worst thing you can do, right? Because what you're supposed to do is forgive and remember. You're supposed to remember for your own good, because what you're attempting, So what you're attempting to do is you're really attempting to stop your own pattern of re-entering the same cycle that you walk through. So that's what I would say to that.
Okay, I want to bring this in like on a realer level.
Okay.
Because I don't know, it just makes more sense. Because I'm thinking of times like I think I consider myself a very forgiving person. Forgive and remember, which is what my parents always said. You know, you have to remember what's been done so you can make a new decision. But when I was in my early 20s and making decisions about partners in life, I made funny choices. And so I want to say, like, there's moments where I think that I have forgiven and letting go.
Yeah, let go, yes.
That's the word I'm going to use. I'm saying letting.
Letting. Love it, Sheena.
Yeah. We're writing our own dictionary also, so. But, now it's sort of like, I'm sitting here in this moment right now knowing that, sometimes I haven't let go of things and I pretend that I have. And I'm wondering how often, I've actually worried myself sick or unforgiven myself sick or all of those things myself sick, thinking that I'm over something or done with something, but in fact, I'm not.
Right. And you know what? That gut instinct is always right. So there are times when I go to the mirror to forgive, and I know immediately that I don't have it right, that somehow I'm lying to myself. And that's where, immediately after I've forgiven, one of the things that happens is this: my teeth get whiter. I kid you not. My teeth get whiter.
No, I believe you.
And then
she's like, this is too much.
I just gotta go forgive a whole bunch of people next week. Next week, watch.
Yeah, so my teeth would get whiter, and then I have a burst of energy. It's almost like a shoot of energy that just goes right through me. And so if I don't experience those physical symptoms that are connected with my forgiveness, then I know I've just lied to myself. And so in that case, what I need to do is I need to take a moment, I need to walk away, and I need to maybe journal or go for a walk or something like that, so that when I come back, I can actually face the truth of what's before me. Because sometimes I'm like, I don't want to go to the mirror, because it means I have to face myself, right? It means this is going to come back on me, right? And so you stop that. Yeah.
What if you come from a family of harborers? Like, everybody in your family is holding on to stuff, and you just that's just how you know. What if you're a harborer like that in your DNA?
Are you a harborer? Is that what you're saying?
I might be a harborer. It might be genetic. I don't know. Can I fix it?
Kate, yes, you can. You will stop that pattern just like this. I'm telling you, right? So you asked me the question before. You're like, how did you come to this? There's a few powerful, really great people that nobody knows about, that in the early 1990s, so I say 1992, 93, there was this thing that was happening where there was a lot of people who were developing ideas that were merging both the East and the West, right? The ideas of the body energy, the ideas of the power of forgiveness. And there were a few people that became quite popular through that process. There's a lady named Candace Blakely that developed her own technique. And so this is where I learned the technique that I use. But it wasn't enough, because I share a Christian view. And so as I went through my own process, and once I learned it, then I altered it. And then I maneuvered it so that it worked for me. And so as I did all of that, I discovered certain things that then worked quickly for other people. Because over the years, or let me say the last 2 years, what I've done is then taken it, watched how it worked on myself, then taken it into my counseling session, and watched how it works with my clients. And so as I see the clinical evidence of those people that just go like this, right? So Casey, you talked about the harborer. You'll be the only person in your family who doesn't harbor, and then all of a sudden they're going, what happened, right?
Why are you
and then
so
they want
funny?
and they'll want to know what you did, and then eventually you'll share with them, and then they'll want to do it too. Nobody wants to harbor. That's the wonderful thing about life, right?
Self-awareness is a really, really funny thing that we'll talk about on another show, I think. But someone asked you a question, Dr. Joan.
Yes, and what's the question?
This person says, does everyone have physical... Oops, hold on. Oh, my mercy.
we're almost there. Oh, almost there.
Does everyone have physical symptoms? I didn't know that was a thing.
Yes, I want to know that too. Thanks for asking that.
Good question.
It's unique to everyone. So whereas I'm able to observe, many of us are not observant of ourselves.
Got it.
But when you get to a place where you've forgiven like everyone, and so it's only daily forgiveness that is present. Like, I mean, Casey, you march backwards. And I mean, you go back to grade school. If you need to, you go back to the womb. You know, you go back generations. You know, like one of the things I had to do was forgive white people. No.
I need to do that so badly. Okay.
I don't mean, for any of those of you who are white and watching, I don't mean it in an offensive way, but I had to forgive men. I had to forgive women and the way we treat one another. I had to forgive the races who discriminate. I mean, I had to go back and track it. And so as I did all of that, you become pristine and clear, right? And the
That's
other
why
thing
you
that
look so
happens,
good, Dr. Joan.
Thank you.
Get it, girl.
And so as you attain that, then what happens is you then begin to notice the things. So one of the things that always happens to me is I'll look older when I need to forgive. Can you believe it? I will look aged if I need to forgive.
I'm gonna take
and
that
so different people will respond in different ways, and it takes everyone to kind of begin to observe themselves, and that's the beauty of this, that you really begin to own forgiveness. You really begin to own the process without, making it.
Hide and seek with me.
Okay. I'll come and play with you soon. They're home from they have the day off from school. Sorry about that. Yeah.
We too, eh?
Yes. Yeah, so as you march through the process, you own it. You begin to notice the things about yourself, and when you're in a space of unforgiveness.
So I have another question. When we first partnered, we saw an energy healer, and she said to me that I was holding a lot of things in my heart chakra, and like she gave me an exercise to like visualize like it being a house where people would walk in.
Yes.
Yeah. And then I should say, thank you so much. I love you, but you can leave my house now.
Yes.
Is that one exercise that I can do to actually work? Like, does it work? Like, I tried it. I did. I felt like it felt better in the moment.
Yeah, it works temporarily. It's just like Reiki will work temporarily, just like marijuana will work temporarily, just like yoga will work temporarily. All of those things are things that help to lift us up, right? So but the one thing that will work permanently is the forgiveness, because it's the lessons.
Damn.
It's the lessons that stop you from kind of going back there. And every person that comes into our lives that we think has done something wrong to us, what we need to think of is that they're here to teach us a lesson, not only about ourselves, but how to love. Self-love, other people love, God love, those three types of love is what everybody that we encounter is either here to offer us or to teach us, right? So that's the thing.
I was not anticipating this conversation to go this way, Dr. Joan, but you have actually helped me to like reaffirm that paradigm for myself, so thank you very much.
Very good, very good.
We are sitting at 12:30, and because we are disciplined women, we are going to stick to our time frame. But here's what I want to leave with. I want to give an assignment to everyone watching, but Dr. Joan, I'm hoping that you can come up with an assignment for everyone and let them know quickly about your practices so they can find you.
Yeah, so I want you to do this one activity. You might do it either just thinking about it or journaling, but journaling is better because it helps you to kind of actually operate in a couple of different spheres at the same time. But think about the last person that you truly had a strong response to, and I want to say a negative response in terms of anger, in terms of shame or blame, or one of those things. Then take that moment and identify the answers to those three questions that I asked. What did you want? What did you get instead? How did you feel about it? Right? And
we're just writing it down.
Yes. So what did you want? What did you get? How did you feel about it? And I did put up a post on my Instagram feed just yesterday that has a video that walks through all the questions that you should consider. So if you want to check that out, you can.
Awesome.
Then I want you to zoom in on the feelings. And then as you zoom in on the feelings, answer this question. When was the first time in your life that you recall feeling this way?
Oh shit, Dr. Joan.
Okay?
She just dropped the mic. You guys didn't hear.
That's right. That's the person you truly need to forgive. Okay?
Oh, man.
Woo! I actually have goosebumps. Okay, I'm actually not
Yes.
going to give an assignment today, other than
Well, that was the assignment.
that was but I wanted to give two because we always give one too.
It's
But
okay.
it's my own assignment for
All right,
myself
go
is to
ahead.
really actually just decide who else there is to forgive. Because
Yes.
if you're anything like me, I'm like very good at like I have a sweet life. I really enjoy my life. I
Yes.
rarely get upset
Yes.
by things. I like but
Yes.
there is some shit
Yes.
that's locked up in here that I
Yes.
need to look at. So if you're like me,
Yes.
you got stuff locked up in here that you need to look at, the challenges, and
Yes.
you decide. You're looking at me real hard. Why are you watching me so hard?
Oh no, because I'm thinking. I'm looking at you. I'm thinking. I'm like, wow, it's locked up. I feel like
It's
it's
locked-
just, for me. I'm like, all the names are right there. I'm like, I'm grabbing them. I'm like, okay, all right.
I love it. I love it. That's why you guys are such a cool team.
Thank you so much, Dr. Joan. We
Where
appreciate
do we
you.
find you? Where do everyone
Where can
find
everybody
you?
find you?
drjoan.ca. And I help you do that exact exercise. I help you find the original person that you need to forgive. Then I teach you how to do this on your own, and I send you off on a journey to become your true self.
Amazing.
I think we want to do a visit to do a
Yeah.
session, and we film it or something like that, and we'll spread
That'd
it
be
and
dope.
share the word.
Oh my gosh, you've just responded to a desire that I've wanted because
Awesome.
I've asked somebody else to do it, and the person ran the other direction. They swore they were
We're
private.
running
and they-
towards you.
If there's anyone else, if there's no one who loves airing all of their stuff,
Like Casey and
I love it. It's amazing. Yeah, so we're totally down for it.
Awesome. So good
Okay.
to meet you guys.
Thanks, Dr. Joan. Thanks, everybody, for joining us.
You're
Take
amazing.
care.
We love you.
Have a good day.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.